The WNBA All-Star Game was expected to showcase the league's biggest stars, but instead, it has ignited a massive debate across the basketball world. Rather than leaving fans talking about incredible highlights, social media was flooded with clips of missed shots, defensive breakdowns, and awkward possessions that many critics say failed to live up to the hype. The game's 129-122 final score only added more fuel to the discussion, with many questioning how a game featuring so many points also produced so many widely shared lowlights. The timing of the criticism has made the conversation even louder. The WNBA is currently enjoying one of the biggest financial boosts in its history after a dramatic increase in the league's salary cap and player pay. Minimum salaries have risen substantially compared to last season, while several of the league's biggest stars are now earning several times more than they did just a year ago. As a result, many fans have begun debating whether the level of play and television audience justifies such a significant jump in player compensation. Angel Reese has once again become one of the central figures in that discussion. Her previous comments about players potentially sitting out during labor negotiations have resurfaced as critics compare those statements with the league's new financial structure. During the All-Star festivities, Reese had a quiet performance, and one sequence involving her lone shot attempt quickly went viral, becoming another talking point that spread rapidly across basketball social media. Much of the debate also centers around the league's long-term television agreement with Disney, NBC, and Amazon. Supporters point to the historic media deal as evidence that the WNBA is growing faster than ever before, while critics argue that average television audiences still have room to improve before matching the league's rapidly increasing financial commitments. Although several games have surpassed 1 million viewers this season, average viewership across the full schedule has remained a frequent topic of discussion among fans and analysts. Caitlin Clark, widely viewed as the face of the league's next generation, also found herself under the microscope following the exhibition. Every one of her performances attracts enormous attention, and this game was no exception. While she contributed points and assists, her shooting efficiency and turnovers quickly became another source of debate, with supporters pointing to the unique pressure she faces and critics expecting more from one of the league's biggest stars. The All-Star event itself also prompted comparisons with previous years. Some fans praised the improvements in presentation and overall production, while others argued that the basketball itself failed to deliver the level of excitement expected from a showcase featuring the league's top talent. Others push back against the criticism entirely, reminding people that All-Star games are designed primarily for entertainment and rarely reflect the intensity or quality of regular season competition. Regardless of which side of the debate people fall on, one thing is clear: the WNBA continues to dominate basketball conversations throughout the summer. Between discussions about player salaries, television ratings, league growth, star performances, and the quality of the All-Star game, the league remains firmly in the spotlight. As the regular season continues, those conversations are only expected to grow louder, ensuring the WNBA stays at the center of the sports world for weeks to come. The debate surrounding the WNBA didn't end with the All-Star game itself. If anything, the exhibition only added fuel to an argument that has been building throughout the season. The commentator argued that simply pointing out the physical differences between men's and women's basketball should not automatically be viewed as controversial. In his opinion, acknowledging that male athletes generally possess greater size, speed, and explosiveness isn't meant as an insult to women's basketball. Instead, he argued that the WNBA should be judged on the quality of its own product, particularly when it comes to fundamentals, execution, and overall basketball skill. According to the criticism, the issue wasn't that the women weren't playing above the rim or producing highlight reel dunks. Rather, it was the belief that the All-Star game featured too many missed opportunities, defensive breakdowns, poor shot selection, and sloppy possessions for an event that's supposed to showcase the absolute best players the league has to offer. The commentator claimed that if this was intended to be the league's biggest annual showcase, many fans were left wondering why so many of the clips going viral were being shared for the wrong reasons, instead of celebrating incredible basketball moments.
The conversation then shifted back to Angel Reese, who once again found herself at the center of the online debate. Reese has become one of the most recognizable faces in women's basketball, not only because of her performances on the court, but also because of her outspoken personality and massive social media presence. That popularity, however, also means every performance is placed under an even brighter spotlight. Critics pointed to her relatively quiet All-Star outing and used it to question whether her production on the court matches the attention she receives away from it. The host then made one of his boldest claims of the entire segment. Despite admitting that he is now in his 40s and hasn't seriously played basketball in several years, he argued that with only a couple of months of dedicated training, he believes he could defeat Angel Reese in a one-on-one game. He insisted that he wasn't joking or exaggerating, claiming that his opinion was based on what he believes is a noticeable gap in basketball fundamentals. Unsurprisingly, that statement immediately became one of the most controversial parts of the discussion, with many fans likely viewing it as an unrealistic comparison, while others debated whether recreational male players could compete with professional women's athletes. That argument eventually circled back to player salaries. The commentator questioned whether the league's significant salary increases are currently justified, especially considering the criticism surrounding the All-Star Game. He noted that Reese's reported earnings increased dramatically from the previous season and argued that such substantial raises naturally invite greater expectations from both fans and media. In his view, higher salaries also mean players will face higher levels of scrutiny whenever performances fail to meet expectations. The discussion also expanded beyond basketball, suggesting that Angel Reese has evolved into much more than simply a professional athlete. Between endorsement deals, television appearances, interviews, podcasts, sponsorships, and social media activity, Reese has built one of the strongest personal brands in the sport. While supporters see that as smart business and evidence of her growing influence, critics argue that her celebrity status sometimes overshadows her actual basketball achievements. Whether that criticism is fair or not remains one of the biggest points of disagreement among basketball fans. Beyond Reese herself, the broader conversation reflects how much attention the WNBA is receiving today compared to just a few years ago. Every game now generates extensive discussion across television, YouTube, podcasts, and social media. Every missed shot, every highlight, every controversial comment, and every statistical performance is dissected by fans from every angle. In many ways, that's a sign of the league's growing popularity, even if much of the attention isn't always positive. The timing of all this has also amplified the conversation. With the NBA season already over, the Stanley Cup Finals complete, and the FIFA World Cup wrapped up, the sports calendar enters one of its quietest periods each year. Outside of Major League Baseball and the WNBA, there simply aren't many major sporting events competing for headlines during late July and August. As a result, every WNBA storyline receives significantly more attention than it otherwise might during football or basketball season. The commentator also mentioned that LeBron James continues to dominate NBA discussions despite the offseason. According to him, LeBron's latest career decision has provided enough material to fuel several more videos, and he plans to continue breaking down every new development over the coming days. Even though there are no NBA games currently being played, the league's biggest stars continue to generate headlines throughout the summer. Looking ahead, he explained that NFL coverage will soon begin taking over the sports conversation as training camps, preseason games, roster battles, and season predictions begin ramping up. Once September arrives, football will once again dominate headlines before the NBA returns later in the autumn. Until then, however, the WNBA and Major League Baseball remain among the biggest ongoing sports stories. Before ending the video, the creator took a moment to thank viewers for supporting the channel throughout its growth. He shared how close he is to reaching his long-term goal of 100,000 subscribers, describing it as a milestone he has spent years working toward. After nearly 3 years of consistent uploads and building an audience, he said the silver play button finally feels within reach. He encouraged viewers who enjoy his sports commentary to subscribe, turn on notifications, and continue following the channel as it expands its coverage of the NBA, NFL, WNBA, and other major sports stories throughout the remainder of the year. Whether viewers agreed with his opinions or strongly disagreed with them, one thing is undeniable. The WNBA continues to spark passionate conversations across the sports world. Discussions about player salaries, television ratings, league growth, star power, and the quality of the on-court product aren't going away anytime soon. As the regular season continues and more eyes remain focused on the league than ever before, every performance will continue to be analyzed, debated, and discussed, ensuring that the conversation surrounding women's basketball remains one of the hottest topics of the summer.